So in the last video, I got back to Genshin at AR 15 in order to reach Fontaine. Given that I now had a clear goal in mind, I was motivated to keep playing and learn more about the game. Then came the Hu Tao banner, the first time I ever used an intertwined fate, in hopes of getting the best pyro DPS and my first ever 5-star. Full of hope and believe in my luck, I got Kaching. Luckily for me, I realized that Kaching's playstyle was perfect for people who do not know what they're doing, so they just press all the buttons, and so I just built Kaching instead. Until like level 40 because, well, things were a little hard around here. Just for the record, I did get Hu Tao later on, but I realized that contrary to Kaching, she was not made for people like me who do not know what they're doing. So I never actually used her much, whoops. Alright. Let's talk about the Archon quests. After saving Mondstadt from dragon attacks and meeting my husband, helping my new wife Kaching and her friends defeat the sea monster in Liyue, I actually got interested in the story of this story-based game. So I decided that from now on, I'll go with the plot. I wanted to explore places along with the story and not just run somewhere just for the sake of it. So before I could get to Fontaine, I had to do the whole of Inazuma and the chasm, all of Sumeru, the desert, and then reach the Nation of Justice. Now in between all that, Chenyu Vale was released, and oh, I can tell you, the temptation was there. But I held out, I refused to watch any content about Fontaine, and I was determined to become Lumine and experience it for myself when the time was right. After the whole of Inazuma, and the chasm, when I set foot on Inazuman land and crossed blades with their enemies for the first time, I realized I really have to get my shit together. And there was one thing that allowed me to push forward. One elemental reaction that carried my level 40, no artifact, no weapon, no talents, main DPS Kaching. Butterblu, my lord and savior. I had a lot to do if I wanted to catch up with people 2 years into the game, one step at a time. The story of Inazuma was actually enjoyable, and apart from the islands literally trying to end you just for existing, it was pretty cool down there. I finally wanted to head to Sumeru after finishing the Archon quest, but there was a little place called Enkanomiya first, which I actually tried to rush through because it wasn't looking that inviting, if you know what I mean. And then after Enkanomiya, first came the chasm, which I thought already belonged to Sumeru, but nope, it was back to Liyue. Contrary to my own expectations, I actually enjoyed it down there. Apart from the Fatui enemies giving me a very hard time, the light mechanic and the whole premise of going to explore the place with a team of adventurers was pretty cool. After finally getting through everything in my way before Sumeru, I was pretty worn out after so many quests in such a short amount of time. So instead, I made an effort to actually level my characters, to turn them from shit to less shit. Artifact farming, boss farming, events, getting primos to pull for new characters in every way possible. The daily life of a Genshin player. Might as well call it the entrance exam before you can start to play Genshin. Though, that will probably just be one question. How down bad can you be for a character on a scale from Teruteru to Nagito? Wait, wrong game, we're not in Fontaine yet. Sumeru. Sumeru was incredible. After getting to the city, I was absolutely hooked on the Archon quest. I love when you as the protagonist can't tell what's real and what isn't, the game messing with you. Oh, I love it so much. The Samsara, chef's kiss. I also quite like the cast of characters we were working with, and the cutscenes were also really cool. Mostly looking at you there, I'll hate them. This was my favorite. Oh, Nazi, if you're ever seeing this, I love your voice acting for this man. Okay, anyway, speaking of which, apart from my big goal of Fontaine, Sumeru was also a very meaningful step in my journey that I had been looking forward to. Why? Well, the reason is simple.
Well, it's simple, Paimon. I'll kill them.
A new reason to live, a new character to wait for and spend my savings on that will keep me going for as long as it takes to finally get him. Kaveh. Oh, and also getting to Fontaine. Yeah, that's still the goal. But first, I need to finish the Aranara quest. See you in 2 years. The end.